This is Honors Geometry Lesson 7.3, Similar Right Triangles. So yesterday we learned that if you draw the altitude in a right triangle from the right angle to the hypotenuse, it divides the triangle into two smaller right triangles that are similar to each other and to the original triangle. So yesterday we set up big triangle, medium triangle, little triangle. We set up our proportion and found the missing side. But there's other ways to do that. I'm going to teach you a couple shortcuts, I call them. First one is theorem 7.6. It's called the geometric mean. It says in a right triangle, the altitude from the right angle to the hypotenuse divides the hypotenuse into two segments. We can see that. The trick here, it says the length of that altitude is the geometric mean of the lengths of the two segments. And maybe you remember that word geometric mean. It means what number fits proportionally to two other numbers. So let me give you an example. Let's see, we have, these are supposed to be gear ratios. I know it looks a little bit more like a snowman. So let's say we have 1 and we have 16. So the question is, what number fits proportionally to 1 and 16? So what we do is we just put an X there and we say 1 is to some number as that number is to 16. We cross multiply, we get x squared equals 16, square root both sides, x equals 4. So our new theorem says that this number is the geometric mean. It fits proportionally to the two segments that form the hypotenuse. So we're going to say 4 is the sum number as that number is to 9. That's the middle of our snowman. So we cross multiply, 36, square root both sides. You can see the length of our altitude is 6. You're certainly welcome to set up your little triangle, your medium triangle, and you're going to end up the same way. I call this one the triangle shortcut because you know when you can use this is when you see this triangle here. You have the two pieces of the hypotenuse and the length of the altitude. And here it is again. You have sort of that triangle relationship. And the one in the middle is the geometric mean, the altitude. That's the middle of our snowman. So we're going to say 12 is to 18 as 18 is to y. Again, we're going to cross multiply. We get 12y equals 18 squared is 324. Divide each side by 12. It looks like our segment length is about, how about 27? Okay. Let me teach you one more theorem or shortcut. Okay, here it is, another geometric mean. It says in a right triangle, the altitude from the right angle to the hypotenuse divides the hypotenuse into two segments. We know that. It says the length of each leg of the right triangle is the geometric mean of the lengths of the hypotenuse and the segment of the hypotenuse that is adjacent to the leg. So I call this one the around the corner rule. So it's saying that the length of the leg, that's right here, is the geometric mean. So that's the middle of our snowman. That's the one we repeat of the two other parts, the hypotenuse and the segment of a hypotenuse that is adjacent to the leg. That means around the corner. So what you want to see to use this theorem is these three things. You need the hypotenuse, you need a segment of the hypotenuse, and you need a leg that's around the corner or adjacent to that. And the length of the leg is the one you repeat. And these two, it doesn't matter which order you put that in. So we're going to say the hypotenuse is to the leg as the leg is to the segment of the hypotenuse that's adjacent, or the piece of the hypotenuse. Again, we're going to cross multiply. Get 729. Divide by 16. And it looks like it's about 45.6. All right, here it is again. We have what we need. We need to have the length of the hypotenuse, we need to have one of the legs, and we need the portion of the hypotenuse that's adjacent to the leg. In this case, we need this piece of the hypotenuse, and that's no problem. We're just going to take 8 minus 2, and we can see that's 6. And now we can use this new theorem, this around the corner one I call. And again, the one you repeat is the length of the leg. In this case, it's x. The other two, it doesn't matter which order you put that in. So I'm going to say hypotenuse is to leg as leg is to segment adjacent to the hypotenuse. And if you set up your triangles, you're going to end up with the same proportion. So if you prefer just setting up your 3 triangles that we practiced yesterday, that's always going to work for you. That's still going to work. These are just another method to use. These are shortcuts. Cross multiply, square root, and just for the sake of time, I'm going to punch that in the calculator. And it looks like about 6.9. All right, so feel free to use yesterday's method with their 3 triangles if you're comfortable with that and want to stick with that, great. If you want to try the new shortcuts, I have 5 of each of the shortcuts you can try in Schoology. It's called 7.3 Part 2. Please try and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.